Hey guys, welcome back to Comic Talk. Today, you guessed it, I'll be talking about everything Batman. I just did a video like I think last week, uh, thumbnail right there. But I wanted to go more in depth about Batman. Of course, everybody's in quarantine right now, so there is no movie news. There's no nothing really going on in the pop culture, the geek, the nerdy. Nothing's really going on in that area right now. But I just wanted to get some stuff off of my mind. I've been seeing the next upcoming Batman movie. Of course, Batman. Batman is my favorite superhero of all time. And I just wanted to talk about the Bat. People are still having hesitations over Robert Pattinson being Batman. And I just can't believe that people are still complaining or still saying, "Oh, he's the guy from Twilight. He can only be that person from Twilight. No one he can't do any other movies, I guess. But if you've seen The Lighthouse, I heard that he did. I didn't really get a chance to see it, but I heard it was good. He did a good job in it. I see him in other movies. After Twilight, he started just doing indie movies, and he started doing smaller movies, not big budget movies. I think this is his first time back in like a big kind of budget or big budget movie. But Lighthouse was like a smaller movie as well, but it was getting traction because it was just announced that he was Batman, and then William Dafoe was in it, and it was kind of cool. And they're both big actors, and uh, and the aesthetics were a little bit different. It was all shot in black and white. It was a time period, so those movies really do good, and especially if you have two really good stars, then you're gonna have a bigger movie. But I digress. I'm going on a little bit of a tangent right here, but people are still saying, "Oh, that Robert Pattinson is only in Twilight." No, he's been in other movies. He's done a good job. He's a good actor. If he does a bad job as Batman, then we could criticize him as Batman. But a lot of people have criticized again and again and again and again. First one with Michael Keaton. A lot of people did not see him as Batman because he just did Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice and all that stuff. But he surprised everyone. One of the most iconic Batmans ever. Michael Keaton, Batman and Batman Returns. We have some of the most iconic characters like Catwoman, Penguin, the Joker, uh, all these other very good movies, and that whole series of Batmans in the 90s and all that stuff. So, and he was the best out of Val Kilmer and George Clooney. George Clooney, I'm going to get back to that one. But I think that we are giving, we've been wrong before. People complain and then they get shown up again. Again, in the Dark Knight trilogy, lo and behold, it's called the Dark Knight trilogy, not the Batman trilogy, because the most famous movie for Batman is probably The Dark Knight. It's in, I believe, the 100 most greatest movies of all time, I guess, or whatever. But it is a good movie. It's a phenomenal movie. Heath Ledger makes that movie good, and Christian Bale and Heath Ledger's connection in that movie, I think, are phenomenal. Christian Bale was, I think, he's my favorite live action Batman so far. And we've been wrong about, people didn't want him to be Heath Ledger. People didn't want Heath Ledger to be the Joker, and we've been showing up again. And I think that, and he blew it out of the water, like the best Joker, live action Joker of all time. I don't think no one's really gonna follow up with that. Joaquin Phoenix came really close. Joaquin Phoenix was a really good Joker, but I think Heath Ledger killed it because he was in with Batman, and he got to play off of Christian Bale's Batman, and he just got to do his own thing. He had to follow up Jack Nicholson and Mark Hamill, basically, because Mark Hamill probably one of the best Jokers. He only played Joker animated. He played him in the animated series. He played him in a bunch of animated movies. So, and he's played the Joker ever since. And he's in the Arkham games. If you hear the Joker, it's most likely going to be Mark Hamill. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. The only one he did not play him in is Arkham Origins. That was Troy Baker, another good Joker. Then again, we got shown up by Ben Affleck. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, we don't want Ben Affleck to be the Batman. Why did you choose Ben Affleck to be the Batman?" And again, he was killed it in the role as Batman. He he destroyed it as Batman. He killed it as Batman, and that's probably why he quit being Batman. But I think he had other problems in his life going on. But he killed it as Batman. I don't think it was the best choice, but he did kill it as Batman. A lot of people were saying because he didn't do a good job as in Daredevil, which is arguably a very similar character to Batman, where he's fighting crime. He's a lone wolf. He fights by himself, and uh, Daredevil and the vigilantes or whatever, and very dark vigilantes, and very similar uh, ways they handle stuff. And I think that since he didn't do a good job as Daredevil, they're like, oh, he can't do a good job as Batman, and he did a good job as Batman. I'm not saying he's the best Batman. Oop, trying to get my leg. I don't think he's the best Batman, but I don't. But he certainly is not the worst Batman. And we're gonna go to the worst Batman right now. But we've been shown up again, and we've been people have been wrong about that's why this time I'm like, I think Robert Pattinson might do a good job as Batman. I trust Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves, who directed the last two Planet of the Apes movies, arguably, really, those were really good movies. And I trust that he's saying he's going to do a noir kind of thing, more of a detective kind of movie. We never really got to see in the live action movies Batman being a detective. We've seen smidgens of here and there, mostly in The Dark Knight, testing the bullets and all that stuff in the Batcave. But it's going to be a very. I think that I have faith that Matt Reeves is a good. He is a good director. He's done good stuff. Robert Pattinson's a good actor. He's done good stuff, and I think that we just have to hope for the best. If we keep saying, "Oh, he's Twilight guy, Twilight guy," no, he's done other movies besides Twilight. Go watch those movies. Go watch The Lighthouse, and then maybe. And if he is a bad Batman, then that's okay. But we haven't seen anything from. We haven't seen any. The only thing we've seen was like a teaser of the bat suit. And even when after I saw that, I'm like, okay, please don't be the bat suit. But I think that that's not going to be the final bat suit. If you remember in the Dark Knight trilogy, he changes to a better suit. So I think that's not going to be the final suit. I think that that's just his first suit, testing it out and all that stuff. And I think that he's going to go to a better suit. And if he does not go to a better suit, then we could complain like, oh, the suit wasn't good. He was not a good Batman. After we see the movie, if we say it before, we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen a single thing about Robert Pattinson's Batman. We haven't seen a single. We haven't heard him do a Batman voice. We haven't seen if he's gonna have a voice modulator. We haven't seen if he's gonna what kind of stuff that he's gonna be doing in this movie. We haven't seen him play off anybody. We haven't seen anything from this movie except a teaser photo for the Batman. So I think that if we just let it play out, let it when we see the movie, then we can complain, and then or we can give it praise, and then we could say, oh, that was a good movie, or that was really good, or that wasn't really good. That probably the worst Batman ever. Then yeah, after we see the movie, by all means, then But let me go to the worst Batman. Arguably is probably George Clooney in Batman and Robin. Again, I recently watched the movie again. As a kid, I did like it. Um, I wasn't as big of a Batman fan, but I didn't know the Batman mythos. I didn't know that Batman was supposed to be like, you know. And when I saw it again as an adult, I saw it recently again, and I was like, okay, I see why this is probably the worst Batman. It's just like a giant toy commercial. They were just doing stuff just for toys, and I know that it was very corny. The biggest thing was Bane. He doesn't. That's not how Bane is portrayed in the comics. That's not how Bane is portrayed in. Because Bane is really a smart guy. He's actually really smart. That's what's very dangerous about Bane. That's very compelling about Bane. That he is very smart and he has the brute strength. That's very because a lot of times Batman is smarter than his villains. That's how he gets. That's why he's such a badass. He's very smart. He's knows how to do this stuff. But in this one, he was just kind of like a mindless big guy, and it wasn't. It just didn't feel right because Bane is actually really smart, and he's actually discovered Batman's identity in the past. If you played the Arkham Origin game, he's discovered that Batman is Batman is Bruce Wayne, and he's very good at hand-to-hand combat. This guy is just a big. And then he turned green. I'm like, Bane doesn't really turn green. Uh, he's one of the most iconic Batman villains because he's one of the people who's actually broken the back, broken the Batman. He's broken Batman's back. You've seen in the Dark Knight Returns, the iconic scene where he breaks his back, and Batman has to recuperate. And in the comics, he's broken Batman's back, so that's where they got it from the Dark Knight Returns. That's where they got it from. But I think that George Clooney isn't really at fault at here. He didn't direct the movie. He didn't write the movie. He was doing what he was told to do, and that's unfortunately that's. But again, like who wouldn't want a chance to play the Batman if he's seen this the script? He's like, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. That's not how Batman is. But as a Batman fan, I would say yes in a heartbeat. Don't tell me you would not take if you got offered to play the superhero of your dreams, you know, your favorite superhero, like you just say your favorite superhero is Spider-Man, and Marvel's like, "Hey, we want you to come in and play Spider-Man." I know you're going to say yes. Even if like, "Oh, I don't care what the script is. I want to play Spider-Man." For me, if I saw that script and I got a chance to play Batman, I am gonna go and play Batman. Maybe it's not the best choice, but I would love to play Batman. I'm not the best. I wouldn't be the best Batman, trust me. But if DC or Marvel called you to play your favorite superhero or your favorite character, like I love James Bond, and then get an opportunity or just to be in the movie, come on. So I think that my George Clooney would be a good Batman. I think that if he had a better script, a more darker tone, I think he would play a very good Batman. Could be a controversial thing, but I think that he could play a good Batman. He has the voice. He has the look for a Bruce Wayne. He looks like a Bruce Wayne. I argue that he did play a good Bruce Wayne in Batman and Robin. He was convincingly like, oh, I believe that guy could be a rich, guy that, you know, a rich billionaire. I believe that he could play that guy. So hopefully he can get another. I don't think he's gonna do it, but I think that would be cool if we got to see a more serious toned Batman. It would probably be an older Batman, but I think that it would be cool if they did, because DC's doing like these one-off things. Maybe if they do like a Dark Knight Returns kind of thing, I think that George Clooney could play a more serious role and play. Because I think that he would be a good Batman. He has the voice, he has the stature. He's a phenomenal actor. And I think that if he had a bite at the apple again, if he had a chance to play Batman again, I think that he would be a really good Batman. And hopefully he gets another opportunity to prove himself, because a lot of people are saying, oh, he ruined it or whatever. But I think that he would be a really good Batman given the opportunity to play a more serious role, because I think he can play the serious roles. He can play more dramatic roles. Um, if you've seen any of his other movies, and he has I think he has a voice for Batman, or he could just do a modulator or something. But I think that he convincingly plays Bruce Wayne. I think that would makes a good Batman if you can convincingly play both parts of. I think that's why Tom Holland is probably the best Spider-Man, because Tobey Maguire was a really good Peter Parker, but he wasn't the best Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was a really good Spider-Man, but he wasn't convincingly as Peter Parker. I think that Tom Holland um, has that both best of both worlds, where he is he is convincingly a Peter Parker and he is convincingly a Spider-Man. I think those are really good things. Um, like Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, I think he's a really good, compelling character as Bruce Banner, and then he's a really good Hulk. So I think that those things go together, and I think that uh, George Clooney can play a really good Batman. I think that there is something there. I think that maybe old, like he had, like, he's retired or whatever, he needs to come back after retirement. I know that's an old story, but Batman Returns, that's what happens. He comes out of retirement. I put a picture right here, like with him with a beard and all that stuff. So I think that he could actually do a really good job. Maybe he could bulk up a little bit, or just put on a suit or whatever. But I think that he could play a good Batman. Oh man, and again, I'm going back to the Robert Pattinson thing. I think that we should give him a chance, give him an opportunity to play the role. He's going to be playing the roles, so uh, I think people need to stop complaining about him being Batman. I think we give him a chance. If he doesn't live up to the Batman standards and all that stuff, then that's fine. But once he plays the Batman, I think that he's gonna kill it. I think that Matt Reeves is a really good director, and I think that he's gonna pull it home. I don't think that they're gonna mess this one up. There's no reason for them to mess this up. I think that Batman is in good hands, and I like how they're going a different direction, making it more a detective story, because we never really got to see that in any Batman movie. He's never really been a detective, and he's known as the world's greatest detective. So I think that would be really cool to see him play, going to the detective side. Hopefully, there's the fighting style, because he is in the DC universe one of the best fighters, hand-to-hand combat fighters. He's a master of 127, or it depends on which comic, but master of 127 different martial arts. So he's a really good fighter, and he's the world's greatest detective. He's has the brains and the bronze, and I think that for both of he's gonna play, like, Tom Holland is the best. He's a really good Peter Parker and a really good Spider-Man. I think that Robert Pattinson, he looks like he's getting more bigger, from what I've seen. That he's getting more bigger, and then he's a really tall guy. And I think that he convincingly plays Bruce Wayne. He kind of does look like a, rich, guy or whatever. I think that he can play that part very well. So let me know what your guys' thoughts on this. Let me know in the comment section below. And thank you. I'm just doing this Batman talk. Probably do this once a week. Talk about stuff about Batman. I have a million stuff to talk about Batman, but there's nothing else really going on. So if you have any Batman questions or any Batman topics you want me to talk about next week, let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think about Robert Pattinson being Batman? What do you think about George Clooney maybe doing another Batman role? Let me know in the comment sections below. Love you guys. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified for new videos. And like it. share with your friends, and I will see you guys later.